Now that we've talked quite extensively about vocabulary, we finally get to work on some application questions, and I'm very excited about this one because it's actually applicable to medicine. If we were to look at a graph of the amount of ibuprofen over time in someone's body, we can actually model that trend line. So ibuprofen is a medication used to relieve pain, and we can model the amount of this medication in someone's body with the function m of t. So we can use this function m of t to estimate the number of milligrams of ibuprofen in the bloodstream t hours, so some random amount of hours we can pick, after 400 milligrams of the medication has been swallowed. So let's go through the steps of setting this up. I know that time is between 0 and 6. This is the best model. I also see the shift vertically when we add 347 to something. There's a really good chance that we're going to need a pretty high window. It doesn't make sense to have negative amounts of ibuprofen in the bloodstream, and so I'm going to make my window go from -1 just so I can see the x-axis and the y-axis. And then my maximum time is going to be 6. This is because of the inequality given between 0 and 6. I'll make my steps or scale 1, and now I'm going to look at my y values. I'm going to make my y values go from -1 up to 400. Now that I've reset my window, I'm going to go to y equals, and I'm going to type in this function. 0.5x raised to the 4th, arrow over, plus 3.45x raised to the 3rd, minus 6.6x raised to the 2nd, arrow over, plus 347.7x. All right, so I have typed in the function into my calculator under y equals, and now I'm going to click the graph button. It's the top right button, and it should give me something similar to what you will find closer to the bottom of your page. It's this beautifully smooth polynomial curve. Now, mind you, it is only a small piece of a very much bigger function. But this is the part of the function that represents the amount of ibuprofen in your bloodstream between 0 and 6 hours. See how fast it plummets at the end? This is why after 6 hours of taking ibuprofen, you start feeling your pain again. I can relate to this. So the questions that we have for this graph that we just graphed is how many milligrams of ibuprofen are in the bloodstream 2 hours after 400 milligrams has been swallowed. So let's go down to the graph and look at time 2 hours. That would be here. If I trace 2 hours up to the curve itself, I look at how tall that curve actually is. Where is this curve height-wise? Well, it's the coordinate point 2, and then it looks like something close to, that's about 40 between 320 and 360. So halfway between is going to be another 20. So about 340 milligrams. So what this means is my input was time, my output was how many milligrams of ibuprofen are in my bloodstream at that time. Let's look at the next question. Use the graph below to estimate m of 4. Now, this is asking a very similar question. This is saying when 4 hours have passed, how much M is in your bloodstream, how much ibuprofen is in there. So again, we're going to do the same thing, only this time I'm going to use 4 as my input and trace that up to the curve. My input is 4. My output looks like it's somewhere close to 200, just under. Let's say it's a quarter of the way there. So if each one of these marks represents 10 milligrams, then let's say this is, so our coordinate point is 4 hours and 190 milligrams.